Most people overcomplicate content creation, whether that's starting their own content creation agency or just their whole content creation pursuit. Now they think that they need expensive cameras, a fancy office, crazy studio lighting, and about 20 different subscriptions. But let me tell you, all of that is a waste of money when you're still taking step one. Now, I built a profitable content agency with just 5 essentials, and I'll show you exactly what they are. So if you're a content agency starting out or just a creator looking to make content so that you could get it processed for post through someone else, these are your core essentials and you don't really need a whole lot more than that. Let's get right into it. Step one is a camera. Now, depending on the kind of content that you're making, you could go for a DSLR or a mirrorless camera like I did 5 years ago when I started my pursuit. This is a Sony a6600 that I still use. The video that you're seeing is being filmed on a Sony a7C Mark I, which I actually got very lucky with and I just got for free through some people that I know. It's still borrowed, but it's not actually mine. This still requires a little bit of infrastructure in terms of like a camera cage if you want to mount it vertically so that it doesn't really fall off, as opposed to, using those tripods where things just, become vertical. Apart from that, if you don't want to use this, I still really just love the good old iPhone over here. I think the iPhone 15 Pro, the one that I use, is absolutely magical, and if you get anything above that, you're going to get top tier visuals. And as long as you've got the right kind of lighting for regular social content, I don't really think you need a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. Item numero dos is a good pair of microphones, and in my case, I use the Hollyland Lark M2. Now in my case, I actually got the deluxe version where this comes in with a whole lot of attachments. So they've got a Type-C pin that you can put into like an iPhone and whatnot, or any Android phone. And this is for the older iPhones, which is anyway going to be phased out, so it's not really necessary anymore. I don't even know why they make them. And it comes along with these sort of noise cancelling feathers over your caps that you can sort of put in. But it's also a pain, and I'm not a big fan of the way this looks, because like say if this was put here, it just looks really ugly, so I don't really use it. The good thing is this comes with noise cancellation. So the fact that you see that this is green tells you that noise cancellation is on, and I very, very rarely speak into it with noise cancellation off. It's not worth the effort. The juice on this goes forever, and it just charges once you put it in the box, and that's pretty much it. And you charge it right here and it goes on forever. Like I barely ever charge this and it works perfectly fine. Next, you're going to need a tripod. This is actually my spare tripod. I've actually got a smaller tripod that's currently housing the camera that's recording this video. I don't think you need something as expensive. I personally don't even like it too much because it's way too bulky. I'd prefer a regular tripod like this. I don't even know how much I bought this for, but it's fairly cheap. You can get it off of Amazon, and as long as it's able to tilt and pan, you're good. Don't really need anything more than that. At number 4, we have a gimbal. Now I have the DJI Osmo Mobile 6. Admittedly, I don't use it a whole lot all the time because I really like how much I can move just handheld with my phone. And honestly, if you've got a mobile only camera, it works a lot faster because setting up a phone gimbal is just so much smoother and a lot less of a pain. And typically when you just do this, that's it. Literally fits in your wrist, and that's all you need. So definitely worth the investment. Now the last part is a bit of a toss-up, but if you're wondering why I'm holding this little green sheet, is because I do think green screens are really cool if you're making talking head content, but at the same time I would probably prioritize lights over a green screen, because a well-lit scene is any day better than just having a green screen. Now that varies in terms of the content that you shoot. At Knockout Media and the agency that I run, we do end up shooting a couple of high budget videos, due to which we end up using better quality lights that aren't exactly bulb powered but rather battery operated. So we've got the Amran 100X and we've got the Nanlite FS-C300, and then we've got this one little Viltrox tube light, which is actually the first light that we started with. Now, do you need something as complicated? Probably not, but does it help to get these slightly cheaper bulb operated lights with soft boxes that you see on Amazon? Yes, because eventually if you do want to light up a green screen or a scene, or even potentially a podcast that you're doing with someone on a lower budget, it makes it feasible. So there you have it. My recommendations are a phone camera like an iPhone, or a very basic camera like the Sony ZV-E10 or the Sony a6700. Then you've got to have a good mic kit. Then you've got to have a tripod, so then you can set all of this on that. Then a gimbal, and if you're going for a camera gimbal, I'd recommend that you get something like the DJI Mini 4 or the DJI Mini 3. But then again, I do have a Mini, and if you're doing any higher level work, it doesn't really work over there. So I just stick to maybe having an Osmo Osmo Mobile, and letting your phone do all the heavy lifting if you're taking any footage on the move. And finally, a good lighting kit. That being said, what about softwares that you could use? Well, the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to free editing would either be CapCut, but I don't particularly enjoy the native ecosystem and the ease with which you can edit videos. But if you don't like CapCut, you can definitely try DaVinci Resolve, which is a lot more native to platforms like Premiere Pro, where you're able to sort of extract the shortcuts that you use over there and the keyboard layout that you use on Premiere or Final Cut and bring them into DaVinci. I personally use Premiere Pro because I often go back and forth between After Effects and whatnot, and I like to have that ecosystem available in front of me and the option to sort of use dynamic link between both those platforms. So there you have it. Those are the tools that I'd use if I'm just getting started with content creation. And if you want to build a personal framework where you want to be able to leave concise instructions to your editors to make sure that they're able to understand your vision, translate them effectively, make sure you subscribe to this channel and actually drop me a comment or send me an email. I'm more than happy to help you fix your own content framework so that you're able to make content creation easier, effective, and more entertaining for your audience. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.